Yo, so live. Hello guys. Good day. My name is Joseph Adubaya. And I'm excited. I'm super excited to be with you guys today. To be with you guys for this webinar. I'm super excited. And I'm also excited because in this video we'll be touching one of the major skills, one of the major trending skills in Nigeria, which is graphic design and animation. So, yeah, as I said earlier, my name is Joseph Adebayo. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a 2D, 2.5D animator. The video you saw earlier on, like the video you just saw earlier on, and I'm a creative director and the CEO of Joy Inspires Studio. So today we'll be looking briefly into graphic design, and we'll be going into animation also, 2D animation. We'll be doing basic introduction of graphic design and basic introduction of 2D animation. So I'm going to put a video for you to watch on the screen now. I'm going to put a video for you to watch on the screen. Please watch attentively, watch and listen attentively. There are many key points in it. After you watch the video, we'll be going into the practical section of animation.
The fundamentals of design are the basis of every visual medium, from fine art to modern web design. Even small details, like the fonts that make up most compositions. What do these examples have in common? Some very basic elements, including line, shape, form, texture, and balance. They might not seem like much on their own, but together, they're part of almost everything we see and create. The fundamentals can be intimidating, especially if you don't consider yourself an artist. However, there's a lot they can teach you about working with different assets and creating simple visuals from scratch. Let's start at the beginning with one of the most basic elements of all, the line. A line is a shape that connects two or more points. It can be fat or thin, wavy or jagged. Every possibility gives the line a slightly different feel. Lines appear frequently in design, for example in drawings and illustrations, and graphic elements like textures and patterns. They're also common in text compositions, where they can add emphasis, divide or organize content, or even guide the viewer's eye. When working with lines, pay attention to things like weight, color, texture, and style. These subtle qualities can have a big impact on the way your design is perceived. Look for places where lines are hiding in plain sight, for example in text. Even here, experimenting with different line qualities can give you very different results. A shape is any two-dimensional area with a recognizable boundary. This includes circles, squares, triangles, and so on. Shapes fall into two distinct categories, geometric, or regular, and organic, where the shapes are more free-form. Shapes are a vital part of communicating ideas visually. They give images heft and make them recognizable. We understand street signs, symbols, and even abstract art largely because of shapes. Shapes have a surprising number of uses in everyday design. They can help you organize or separate content, create simple illustrations, or just add interest to your work. Shapes are important because they're the foundation of so many things. Learn to look for them in other designs, and soon you'll start seeing them everywhere. When a shape becomes 3D, we call it a form. Forms can be three-dimensional and exist in the real world, or they can be implied, using techniques like light, shadow, and perspective to create the illusion of depth. In two-dimensional design, form makes realism possible. Without it, a bouncing rubber ball is just a circle. A 3D building is just a series of rectangles. Even flat designs use subtle techniques to hint at form and depth. In everyday compositions, the purpose of form is the same, but on a smaller scale. For example, a simple shadow can create the illusion of layers, or give an object a sense of place. Basic forms can bring a touch of realism to your work, a powerful tool when used in moderation. Texture is the physical quality of a surface. Like form, it can be three-dimensional, something you can see and touch, or it can be implied, suggesting that it would have texture if it existed in real life. In design, texture adds depth and tactility to otherwise flat images. Objects can appear smooth, rough, hard, or soft, depending on the elements at play. For beginners, textures make great background images and can add a lot of interest to your work. Look closely, and you may find texture in unexpected places, like distressed fonts and smooth, glossy icons. Just be careful not to go overboard. Too much texture in a single design can quickly become overwhelming. Balance is the equal distribution of visual weight. In other words, how much any one thing attracts the viewer's eye. Balance can be affected by many things, including color, size, number, and negative space. Mastering balance can be tricky for beginners because it does take some intuition. Luckily, the design world is full of examples that can help you understand its different iterations. Symmetrical designs are the same or similar on both sides of an axis. They feel balanced because each side is effectively the same, if not identical. Asymmetrical designs are different, but the weight is still evenly distributed. The composition is balanced because it calls attention to the right things. Many people use a strategy called the rule of thirds. This imagines your work area divided into a 3x3 grid. The focal point of the image is placed on or near one of these lines, creating visual balance with the rest of the space. We find this type of composition appealing because, according to studies, the human eye naturally follows this path when scanning a design. The fundamentals of design are all about the bigger picture. In other words, learning to appreciate the many small details that make up every composition. This insight can be applied to almost any type of project, whether you're creating your own graphics or just looking for simple ways to enhance your work. Thanks for joining us for the fundamentals of design.
Yeah, okay. I guess we learned one or two things. We jotted one or two things from the short video, the 6-minute video that I just played just now, because of its an illustrated summary of what graphic design entails, the importance, what you have to consider, the things you do in graphic design, that's the shapes, the fonts, the types, and everything. You saw everything there. Everything was analyzed in the summary of graphic design. So majorly what I want us to be doing, what I want us to do today, what I want me and you to do today is major practicals. I don't want us to really go into the since it's introduction we're doing of the basics, and I want us to really relate with what is common, what we have seen that is common around us. So I want us to really relate with that in this class of ours. So I'll be opening a document now for us to see. I'll be opening our workspace now. So mind you, before I proceed, I would like to say there are numerous softwares we make use of in design. The software for the mobile phone differs from the software that you make use of in the PC, that's the private computer. Now, the mobile phone software, they vary. That's down from Canva. Just go on Play Store. Once you get to Play Store, you see numerous kind of design software. search, you can search flyer design. You see numerous kind of design software that when you download them, even with zero or little design knowledge, you can make use of them. Though you might not be able to use them to, you might not be able to apply those softwares to to a professional level. You may not be able to apply them to professional jobs. So they vary. You can see Canva is a little bit advanced. Canva is an advanced tool, let me use it like that. It's an advanced design tool that you can use on mobile phone. So even if you are not well skilled, and you can easily survive with other software, you might easily get turned off from design using Canva. But if you are patient and you are consistent enough, you can learn Canva, and mind you, when you understand it, you can use it to design even many projects that can be done on PC. You can easily do them in Canva. So there is the Pixel app also there, that's for the mobile phone. Go on Google Play, explore, You see different type of design softwares on Google Play. Now down to PC, that's private computer. There are numerous softwares also we make use of, but many the industry standards, let me use it like that, or the common softwares we make use of in on the PC in the design industry is we make use of Illustrator, we make use of Photoshop, we make use of XD, we make use of Figma, we make use of CorelDRAW, and even beginners even make use of PowerPoint. Don't be surprised. People don't be surprised that even PowerPoint can be used to animate a video. All those we will just be dabbling into them little by little as we go along in the video. So now when you are talking about animation also, we also have softwares we use in animating our videos. Some of the softwares we use in animating videos for animation is, okay, before I specify the different type of animations we have, let me come down like this. Some of the softwares we use in for animations are Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Blender, and many other like that. There are many other higher softwares that we also use for animation. There is also the Dash 3D, that's for the 3D. The Blend, if I use Blender for 2D, you can also use Blender for 3D. You can use After Effects for 3D with some plugins into it, and you can use but we majorly use After Effects mostly for 2D. So there's the motion design, and there's the 2D and 2.5D. 2.5D is majorly like 2D and closely like 3D. I'll be showing you in the video during this class. Now let's cut all the story short and let's move to the practical sector. So one of the things that we want to be doing first today, okay, sorry, before I also move forward, the tools of a graphic designer. We have already mentioned the phone, the laptop, and like that. Another tool of a graphic designer or an animator is your tablets, your graphic tablets. These graphics tablets, you can use it to draw and use it to animate also. If you are using Photoshop to animate, this graphic tablet is always easier, especially the traditional animators. Traditional animators are those animators that they draw everything that you see in the video. Every movement they make in any cartoon video, it's those traditional animators draw every movement. So you can also make use of your graphical tab for those sketches. Now this is a non-display graphics tab. It has its buttons here. You can see its buttons. Then this is the trackpad. This is the work area. Then this is the graphics pen. Now then it also has it is not a wireless graphical tab. So it has a connector. It's making use of Type C. Type C is also like a normal USB. the
Charger.
like a normal USB charger, but the difference is you can turn it upside down, you can turn it like that, yeah, and it won't it won't damage anything. Do you understand? So then it's also have where you can switch. It also has a switch that's for the trackpad and what have you. Then these buttons here, you can use it to program your shortcuts on each and every of your softwares. So that's that by the way. So now let's dabble into our software. So what we want to be doing first, what we are taking first is logo design. We want to design a logo. We are still in graphic design this time around. We want to design a logo. Let's see what how let's see the process which design of a logo usually take. Into the software that we are going to use. So we are starting off with Illustrator. As I said before, Adobe Illustrator, it's a software package which you can use to design, illustrate, create cartoons, create animations, draw vector layers, and illustrate whatever it is that comes to your mind. Just illustrate it. But now we want to be making use of Adobe Illustrator to draw a logo. That's what we want to use it for. So first of all, we will create a new document. I'll set this the size of my document here. I'm measuring in inches, in millimeters, sorry. So it's set here 1080 by 920. I want it to be in the portrait. Then I click on create when I see that everything is set. Click on create. Now this is our page here. This is our workspace. This is where anything we want to do, we'll do it on this, just like a normal paper. So we want to draw our logo here. We want to draw out our logo here. So I made a rough sketch already. So I'll be bringing in the rough sketch as a picture into this layer here, where we can sketch on. So I import our image as a picture. This is what we want to turn into a logo here. So first of all, I'll have to zoom in on it. I'll have to zoom in on it. Then let me plug my tab. So make use of it to draw. Before that, let me explain the features here to you. Now, this is the selection tool. The selection tool is majorly used to select any objects. Select any objects in place. Select and move. It's majorly used to select and move any objects in place. Now, yeah, this is your direct selection tool. We'll be using that along the way. And this is your pen tool. Your pen tool is used for drawing, for shapes and everything. Now this is okay. I should look. Now let's quickly talk about the tools. Now this is your selection tool. Your selection tool is usually used for moving, for clicking, moving any image on the screen. Then this is your direct selection tool. We'll be using that along the way. Then this is your pen tool. Your pen tool will also be using that immediately now. we use your just what you use your normal pen to do in real life. We use it to draw, we use it to sketch, and what have you then? Your curvature tool, we use curvature to readjust, to reshape an object. That's what we use curvature tool for. Then this is your regular shape tool. This is your ellipse. Your ellipse. Then under it we have the rectangular tool. Then we have the polygon tool. We have the star tool. We have the line segment tool. Then here we have your paintbrush tool. Here we have your type tool, which is also your text tool. That's if you want to write the text. And here we have your rotate tool. Here we have your eraser tool. We have the shape builder, gradient tool. We won't be making use of all of them, but those important ones that we need to make use of, we will make use of. So now let's get into work. Now, because of want to resketch this is just an image. This is an image. You can't call it a logo yet. You can't present this to an ID client and say this is a logo. So we have to resketch this into looking like a logo. Now, the first thing we have to do is our graphics tab. My graphics tab is already plugged in. So the next thing I will do is I will go to the next thing I will do is I will go to the pen tool. I'll click on the pen tool. When I click on the pen tool, then I'll come down here. I'll come down here to the image. Then I will trace it. I'll trace the image. It's like as if I'm still sketching on it. I'll trace the image. Let me first of all select this. No fill. So down here, I'll trace the image. So as I'll have to trace it line by line. But now the process might get a little tiring and bored. So the process does not bore you guys. The process does not bore you. I will actually have to fast forward it. So you see the end product, the end sketch. Okay, so we are done with sketching the image. We are done with sketching the tracing the image. So from here, we'll actually have to readjust the lines. So we have to readjust the lines and see what we have done. So we highlight it. Then we come here. Let's increase the outline. Okay. Turn this off. So here is the rough sketch we made out of it. So now let's adjust everything here. Let's make an adjustment to everything. So now let's make use of this curvature tool. Click on this, drag it.
Click on this, anything. Yeah, as well as you have, you just get this application. So, yeah, let's paint it now.
using brown color. So let's come here to this brown. Say that let's take in this. Let's take in that and this. So this, let's give it a color also. And this, make it a lighter color so it's get noticeable. The arm of the book, let's make it very dark. Here's the lights, this. Yeah, so make this dark color and make it very thick. Make it very thick. So you see now we've recreated this just with shapes. We've recreated this into let's say a flat surface logo. So the next step we want to be taking is we want to recreate it into a 3D logo. That's what we want to be doing. So first of all, after we are done with sketching it like this, then we have to export this. Then we have to group it, then export it. Export as, so let's say book logo. Then you save it as JPEG. There are other format there which you can save it with. Where you save this as JPEG, then you click on export. Change it to RGB. Make use of RGB better. Then you click on OK. Now our picture is already exported. So the next thing we have to do is we go there, we'll go to our folder. So okay, the next thing now we have to do is we want to change it to a 3D logo. That's we want to incorporate it into a mock-up. So the first of all, what we have to do is we have to open Photoshop. Now we have to open Photoshop. We have to open Photoshop. So here you come. Yeah. So you can see that I don't know if you have come across something like this before. So this with that now. So I already saved this file. So all we just have to do is we have to import that image into this Photoshop file to convert it into a 3D mockup. So there are many settings that have applied to this, which I would not want to do on screen because of it's tedious and it requires technicality to convert a normal picture into a mockup. So, but all I would do is I will drop this file, I will drop it under this video So if you need it anytime, maybe for your own personal practice, or you want to use it for somebody else, to try it on somebody else, to work for somebody else, you will see it. There's a link under this video. Click on the link to download this file that I'm making use of now. So, yeah, this is it. So you have to click on this place here, this place where it is tagged the logo. You double click on it. It's already a smart object, so you double click on it. Now you have to bring in the image. You click on file, click on import. So you have to bring in the image. So you press Ctrl I. So you have to bring in the image. Go to the source of the image. So now here is our image. Oh, let's not forget, there's one mistake that is made there. Now if you look closely, you see that you can see this white background there, which we didn't paint anything white, if you can remember. So that white background is not supposed to be there because of we made a mistake. Now we will have to go back to remove that white background. So you can see that this is a mistake here, so we have to go back to Illustrator to remove this white background, to resave it. Now you see where we made a mistake in Illustrator. Now let's go back to Illustrator. So here is Illustrator. Now we'll click on File. Let's export it again. Click on Export. You click on Export As. Then you click on Book logo. Now this time around, you won't save it as JPEG. You save it as PNG. A logo should actually be saved in PNG, while a picture should be saved as JPEG. A logo should be saved as PNG, while a picture should be saved as JPEG. PNG. Then you click on Book Logo and you click on Export. So you see transparent. Can you see what you wrote here? Transparent. So now the logo will not be carrying that white background any longer. It will now be with a transparent background. Okay. Now let's head back to Photoshop. And in Photoshop, we can delete this, or let's just turn it off. Let's toggle the visibility off. Now let's bring in the new image we just saved. Now this is the new PNG file we just saved. Now you can see that there is no longer white background here. You can see there is no any white background now. So now you click enter to drop it. Now this is our logo here. It's still in 2D format, so we brought it here to change it, to convert it to a 3D logo, that is to a 3D mockup logo. Now all you have to do is, because of you double clicked on this, remember you double clicked on this to bring us here, and now we drop this file here. Then you click on save, Ctrl S to save. See, it's loading up. Convert the colors. Now then you click on this. Can you see what the logo has changed to now? So it's now in more like a 3D format. So but this is this setting here and everything is what we call 3D mockup. So we've already made the logo into a mockup. Now I'll be dropping the file below this video for us to, if you need the file, because of, if I start to explain it, it's getting into technicality of graphics. So that's why I won't want to dabble into how to make a mockup and what have you. Now that is that on how to make a 3D logo. So the next thing we want to go into now is, then you save your work. Save your work. Okay, guys. So before we move to something else, something new, I would want us to try and give it another try. That's, I would want us to make another logo, then convert it into a 3D mockup put it into a 3D mockup, more of like changing the logo into a 3D logo. So here's another sketch. Here's another sketch. Import the sketch. And then many of you are familiar with this sketch here. Let me turn off the visibility of this. So again, I would also be tracing this. So I will have to fast forward the video so as not to take so long on screen. So yeah. Okay, so we've tried sketching it. Let's adjust it then. Okay, so yeah, we redesign the sketch, and this is what we get from sketch. Now let's convert it. Let's export it as a flat logo. So after you sketch, you come to file, then you go to export. You click on export as. Then prior to what I told you the other time, you make sure that you save it in PNG. PNG will give you the transparent background. It will make it the logo to be without background. If you save it in JPEG, JPEG will automatically put a white background at the back of your logo. So don't save it in JPEG. So let's save it in PNG. PNG. So PNG Apple and book. So PNG exports. So you see transparent is asking, is telling you that it's going to be in transparent. You could refuse and say I want it white. So you see automatically it puts a white at the back. And you can also refuse and say I want it black. See automatically it puts a black at the back. But no, we want it transparent. Then you click on OK. So it now goes we go to get saved to our USB drive. So this is it here. Now this is the file, but here we come to our Photoshop again. Now this is where we turn it to 3D. So first of all I have to remove this. First of all I have to remove this the logo that is here, this logo design that is here. First of all I have to remove it. So you click on here, this place, you click on this place here. This is the smart object. You click on it, double click, 1 2, so it opens up. So this is it here, and you drag and delete. So it's deleted automatically. Now if you have to bring in the new picture, that's the new logo, you have to bring it in to here. So you click and drop. So now this is the new logo, it's dropped already. So you click out. Now here you click on Ctrl S, or you can go to file and you click on save. Ctrl S. So it's loading up here, converting the colors, and done. Then you come here and you see your logo. Now you see that it's already in 3D format. So it is as simple as that. It is as simple as that. So that will be that on 3D. That will be that. That will be all for getting a 3D logo. So you check under the description below. You will see a link there. In that link, I'll be leaving how you can get the file that I used in this project. That all these files, the apples, this mockup, everything, I will drop it on the. I will drop it in a drive, and I'll drop the link to the drive under this video. So watch out for the space. Check under this video, you will see it. So now we'll be moving into animating a character. So we want to animate a character. So we'll be moving into the second sector of this tutorial. And the second sector of the tutorial is animating a character. So this is the animation aspect. Now I want you to really pay attention to me, so you can get something tangible. It's because of you are not really used to the design world and animating world, so it might look a little confusing, but trust me, it is a very interesting something when you sit down with it, and over time, when you've practiced and you get used to it, it's no longer look strange to you again. So now we are done with this, so we just close it. So to animate today, we are going to be making use of Illustrator, that's for our drawing, and we'll be making use of After Effects for the animation. Mind you, before the program, before this tutorial video, I had I've quickly arranged a sketch down so as not to delay us in any way. So I'll be opening the sketch now for you to see, and from there we'll kick off. So here we'll come to Illustrator. You open Illustrator. Remember I told you Illustrator is for sketching, to sketch. So this is it here. Click this. Okay, yeah. So this is what we'll be animating. We want to animate this scene in Illustrator. So should, in case you have not seen some of my work, the first video that played before, should, in case you want to see some example of what I've animated before in 2D, some of my 2D animations, the first video that I played before this tutorial at all was one of my projects. Let's see some other projects. Yeah. Yeah, see this. You see this? Let me make it in a loop. So do you see this? This is a 2D. This is a 2.5D animation. So it will require you practice and little technicality for you to be able to get this particular kind of rig in After Effects. So this is, let me show you another one again. Animation is very interesting. Animation is very interesting. It's, once you get used to it, you will never want to leave it. It's just like the movies that you watch, animation movies. I love cartoon a lot, so I don't know about you, but cartoon is so part of me that anytime I watch a cartoon movie, I don't always want to delete them away from maybe my system or from my phone or anywhere it is that I watch. I sometimes always want to repeat that same movie again. So you see, those are some of the examples of animations, that's 2D animations, 3.0. So these are some of my projects here. So now let's go back to our main focus of the day. Now this here is what we will be animating for this tutorial, that's this introduction to graphic design and animation. This here is what we'll be animating. This here is what we'll be animating for the tutorial of the day. So here you can see that everything here has easily been sketched up and you can easily identify them. So now one of the rules of animation is there's something we call layers in Illustrator. So this is what you call layers here. It's having every part. It's just like the skeletal body of a normal being, having it in each part. So this, for example, this okay, let's come here. So you can see that this is a leg, but let's make it much more visible. Okay, so now this is a lamp here. It represents a lamp. One layer, it represents a lamp. Another layer, it represents another lamp. This other one, it represents another lamp. So each layer represents one thing in the image. And just for example, this girl, She has her head in a layer. She has her legs in a layer. This guy has his head in a layer. Yeah, he has his legs in a layer. So by the time we get into After Effects or animate, we'll be animating each layers, because the implication is if you don't separate each layers, by the time you get into After Effects or animate, you won't be able to easily differentiate what you want to animate there. So though it's not like as if you can't animate without these layers, there are much more professional ways of doing that. But that's not what we want to talk about today. So we are here to only scratch the surface. So now let's make sure that we have separated every part into a layer. So this is the flower vase is in a layer. This shoes in a layer. No, I don't want that to be so scattered. I think this is too much, so let's group these two together. Then, okay, this is a book and a coffee cup. This is a coffee cup and this coffee cup. So this is the table and the laptops. They are in one layer. So I can easily rename it. So that for easier identification, table and laptop. So here, so this is the mouse, the guy's mouse. I'm still on it. So I'll speed up the work process so you don't get bored all the way. Okay, so we are done renaming the files and arranging the files. So the next thing we have to do now is the main job itself. That's the way the animating of these guys come in. Now we would have to jump into After Effects. So let's see. Okay, so loading up from the menu. Use the program. Remove the manually. Okay, so we'll jump into the animating of this video, right? These characters right now. So here is After Effects. This is what we majorly use to animate 2D. Motion design is 2.5D. You can use it to also animate 3D. You can also use it to animate 3D graphics, but it always requires some little plugins, some plugins here to finalize that. So here is After Effects. What we have to just do is you click on New Project. So it loads up, then you have the new composition from footage. This is when you're importing the footage down in, but we are doing it raw, that's new. We're starting from scratch. So you click on new composition, then you set the quality you want it for. Because of I majorly use 1920 by 1080 for my videos. That's why this is already set here. This width and height is already set here. So you can change it to whatever you deem fit, but we are not changing it. So we are leaving it at 1920 by 1080. 1920 by 1080. So now it should be there. We don't need it to be more than 30 seconds. So the duration here is 30 seconds. We just need it to be 30 seconds, or let's say 35 seconds. 35 seconds, okay. So the background, we leave it as black, and the resolution, the full resolution, we don't need to animate in full resolution, so the system does not hang sometimes, but necessarily we can still animate it in full resolution, so it doesn't get blurry to you guys that are watching out there, to you that are watching out there. So you click on, then nevertheless don't forget frame rate. Frame rates will determine how fast your video will go or how speed. So I'm just trying to be very lame in the explanation of. So it's determine how fast your video is going to be or how slow your video is going to be. So I usually animate at 24 frames per second, or necessarily you can use 30 frames per second, but I usually prefer 24 frames per second. So then you click on OK, then it loads up. So this is our new, my caps lock is on. So this is where our workspace is going to be. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to import what we want to animate. We have to import it down into After Effects. So this is where it's all gets interesting, guys. So where did I save it? Import file. Save file, click on the USB drive. So let's come from here. Then file, import file. Then click on, I saved it on the USB drive, on my USB drive. Then boy and girl in the office. Then click on import. Then now, are you importing it as a footage or as a composition? So because we're not dealing with footage here, we'll click on composition. So I click on composition, and you don't necessarily need to change anything. Leave it at layer size, not document size. Then click on OK. The implication is if you change it to document size, it might affect this initial size of whatever you had sketched out in Illustrator. So now the next thing you have to do is double click on the file, double click on this boy and office, double click on it. So you see that it adds up here, everything is here. And nevertheless, don't forget that we turned off the visibility of the lamps up there. So I've forgotten to actually turn on the visibility back. So let's turn them on. Okay, then the flower vase, you can just easily name them. Lamp 1, lamp 2, then lamp 3. Then here is the flower vase. Flower vase here. So now, next thing we have to do is you have to make everything look so quality. So I won't advise this for some people just starting animation, because of sometimes it might make your work look laggy. That it might make it slow sometimes, and you don't get comfortable. You easily get pissed off with that. So, but nevertheless, let's rasterize everything so it makes everything quality sharp. That's the effect. So, oh, I'm very sorry to cut you short there. I know you're already interested in seeing how to get started with the animation itself, but owing to the fact of due to time constraints, and in order not to make the video too lengthy and we don't get bored of the space, so we will be continuing in the next video. That's we'll be animating these cartoon characters in this cartoon thing. We'll be animating it in the next video, and it will be the same time next week. We'll be continuing the same time next week. Make it a date. Tell your friend, tell a friend to tell a friend that come and see how cartoons are being animated. So all that, anything else, all the link I promised earlier on, they will be provided down below this video. So you can meet with any, if in case you don't see the link, you can comment in the section and I will tell you in the comment section, and I will tell you how to locate the link. So it's been wonderful having to share and talk on this show of introduction to graphic design and animation. Trust me, I got to learn something, and I know you also learned something from what this tutorial had to offer. So make it a date with us next week, same day, same time next week. I know you don't want to miss it, and I know you don't want to trade it for anything. So thank you, and God bless us. And I still remain Joseph Adebayo. So, mind you, before you go, you can also watch these little videos at the end of this video to also know the way animation looks like, to see some of my project and also know the way animation looks like.